So Nintendo had a direct today, and oh boy, was that a direct alright. We are now approaching the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Bros., and they are for sure doing their damned hardest to milk that poor IP for what it's worth. So first off, we got a teaser for the sequel to the first Super Mario movie, and for me personally, I really liked the movie. It didn't fall into those conventional pitfalls most gaming-related movies fall into, outside of, say, Sonic, which is also doing a pretty good job. However, the direction this is going feels odd. Mario as an IP is home to such variety, and I suppose in me saying that, it answers my question. But going from what we had in the first movie to now going to Super Mario Galaxy seems a little like an escalation. Like, this should have been the third installment of it, if you know what I mean. That's how it feels. But I will still be curious to check it out in the hopes that the second movie doesn't suffer from typical sequelitis sort of syndrome. But of course, following this announcement of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, they announced the appropriate tie-in, which was Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 being bundled and coming to the Switch, which I've just found out is priced at $58.99 in the UK. And Nintendo, regardless of the small amount of new content and up-resing you've done, charging this for these games is just, oh boy, no. But moving on. Mario Tennis is back with a fever, apparently, introducing fever bats that have a wide variety of gameplay alterations, such as faster shots, freezing the areas of the map, or duplicating yourselves, on top of basic mechanical improvements like being able to slide or dive amongst the pre-existing movement pool. But, did you want to play an adventure mode where everyone gets turned into babies? I mean, Nintendo, your audience isn't children anymore. We all know everybody who is a Nintendo fan is probably in at least their mid to early 30s now. Come on, we don't need this. Mario Wonder is also getting a Switch 2 port with some more multiplayer stuff being added in. Yay! Aren't we all excited for that? But worst of all, if you didn't like that talking flower, not only are they the commentator in the new Mario Tennis Fever game, Nintendo thought in their wise wisdom that they thought you would want it as a physical talking flower in real life. Wahey! Yoshi is back, getting a new game labelled Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, and I mean it's mysterious. It's got a moustache, it talks. I think anyone with a rightful mind will be put off by its presence, so it makes sense it's mysterious. Either way, the game though so far looks rather simple, but I will praise the Yoshi games as being some of the few from Nintendo that really like to spice up or test like different artistic styles and create something more visually unique. So I will give it that, and it looks quaint. It's just hoping it's priced accordingly, but with Nintendo as they are now, I doubt it. So that was the end of essentially the 40th anniversary announcements for Super Mario, and then we moved on to what they actually considered the actual direct. So what followed was a multitude of indie and mainline titles reappearing again with actual release dates like Hades 2, Power Wash Simulator 2, Tomodachi, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and so on. But nothing really like stood out amongst the crowd, maybe save for Popacom, which looked like Nintendo's version or answer to Split Fiction, which was weird considering they already have a port of that game, but it still looked pretty quaint. Hyrule Warriors and Dynasty Warriors Origins were both given time to shine, and with release dates as well. I just don't know about it, you know? I don't know about you, but the whole formula behind these types of games rarely changes, and the feeling of similarity creeps in, and I feel like they're just sort of like a wait for a deep sale sort of game, which we know with Nintendo that rarely happens, but by all means, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is my stance on these type of games. They're like a quick make and pump them out for mass profit, like using popular established IPs, and I'm looking at you, Persona, One Piece, and Attack on Titan, which have all had very similar games in this genre. Now for some positive highlights of the show for me personally. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined was announced, which is also coming over to PlayStation, which is my primary console of choice. I'm a big Dragon Quest fan in the form of 11 being a game I sunk so much time into, and I mean a lot of time. But anyway, The approach of this one is indeed a little different than what I was expecting, and from online debates, fans are dubious about the reimagining, as they have said it is mentioned that the story itself is going to be streamlined. In what regards or extent, we don't know, but other fans are quick to say Dragon Quest VII is a long drawn out experience, so could use a little trimming. So what camp you're a part of in this regard, I still hope that this game is something you can enjoy on its own merits, as I will certainly try to myself. And another random announcement, Danganronpa 2 is being remastered? Remade? I don't know. With an extra story section, added visual improvements, and of course in Spike Chunsoft fashion is being relabeled as Danganronpa 2x2. I'm a big fan of this series of games, and so I will keep a very close eye on this to see if it's genuinely worth the price or a wait for sale. But I feel a bit disheartened because they only just touched up 2, and I feel like if they bundled 1 and 2 again and did the same treatment, I feel like it would have been a more enticing and more appropriate package to sell. But that's just me. Monster Hunter Stories 3 genuinely looks fantastic. I think they've managed to find a wonderful art style in which looks like an even more refined vision of Monster Hunter Stories 2. Gameplay wise, there isn't much to see here, but we don't have to wait overly long till its release, and it's definitely a game I will be all about, as I am a sucker for JRPGs in general, especially turn-based. And in my opinion, the team here have always genuinely improved from each game, so I'm very curious about what they've taken from 2 and refined and put into 3, because there was some bits that really needed cleaning up, so I'm very much looking forward to this. Now, before I go on to some of their stronger finishing pieces of this presentation, I need to talk about 2 really big elephants in the room. The first being their new announcement of more stuff coming to the online expansion pack servers. Did you expect, I don't know, the DS or more N64, GameCube, SNES, Master System games? No. I don't think Nintendo did either, because they said, here you go, we're going to present you the Virtual Boy, a console so famous for being a system that people couldn't play for long without getting sick or unwell, or kids weren't even allowed to look at it because of their developing eyesight. It was a very famously bad product. Have this though, they say, but with 14 games, which by the way aren't all at release, they are coming out over time, on top, and I'm saying this with a straight face, people, of the fact that you need a dedicated, and you heard that right, a dedicated accessory to play this, which comes in the form of a lookalike Virtual Boy plastic prop. That you can also slot in your Switch 1 or 2 into for the right price of, wait for it, $66.99 in the UK. Or if you think that's a little steep or a bit out of your budget, you've got a cardboard version for $16.99. Nintendo. I will keep this family friendly, but who on earth wanted or even asked for this? Was this genuinely something that people wanted? And if so, who thinks it's wise to charge people for a mandatory accessory on top of the fact that you've tied it to the expansion pack service, which requires a yearly payment? My God, what are you thinking? Oh my God. Anyway. Their second glaring issue is their handling of paid DLC. Donkey Kong Bonanza has just been given DLC, which is out today or yesterday, depending on when I've published this video, featuring a new area to explore, DK Island, and a new game mode, Emerald Rush. The content looks okay. It adds a little bit, It's very welcome, but it's priced at $16.99, and from when the game has only just been out a few months, it feels a little insulting to really be asking customers to pay so soon. But it's even worse when it comes to Pokemon. Not only are we getting the newest Pokemon game, which also got given its release date, but they're giving you a paid DLC on top. They announced a paid DLC with a pre-order, and it's roughly priced around £22 here in the UK. Like, what is going on here? When did we start doing DLC in advance of a game's release? And I'm talking an expansion of a product that we haven't got yet. Like, just delay the game and put it in. Like, what about this, Nintendo, is acceptable? What about this is acceptable? But okay, I'm going to have to calm down here. On to brighter pastures. Metroid Prime 4 was shown off again, and I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing how well this is received by fans and critics alike, as it genuinely looks like a lot of work has been poured into this, and with the release being in early December, it's not that far away, and it will be a good Christmas gift or a stocking filler for anybody who's in the Nintendo space. I'm very excited for that. Fatal Frame 2 caught me off guard. It genuinely was something I never anticipated was ever going to get a remake. I've heard many good things from this from friends in the horror gaming space, and so seeing this as well as also multi-platform, I'm looking forward to picking this up on my PS5 and checking that out when it comes out. So another solid hit. Second from last, we have Resident Evil 9 coming to the Switch too, and this is really good to see. It's good to see current gen third-party games making their way over to the platform, and I have high hopes for RE9, and it's not that far away. But Switch 2 also get the bonus of having 7 and 8 also being bundled and released on the same day as 9, which is a little odd, which it would have been better probably if it was to be a bit earlier so people have time to like go through those and then into 9. But it is what it is. At least you have the option and opportunity to be crunching down on some of the franchise's best installments to date outside of some omissions like RE2 and RE4 remake. So definitely something to look forward to. Finally, the show ended with a new Fire Emblem title, and for me, it looks lovely. Like visually, it looks pretty. And the tactical gameplay looks more refined than ever before, but unfortunately for me, tactical based RPGs are not my strong suit, so I don't have much of an opinion here. But I hope for fans of this franchise that this game is going to meet some of those high expectations, and I also hope the game isn't censored much here in the West, as we know previous entries do indeed suffer from this problem. Now do correct me if I am wrong on any facts, however, as I love to learn, and sometimes due diligence doesn't always happen. But that was it for the Nintendo Direct, and personally it feels like overall a massive nothing burger. There was a lot here, sure, but a lot of it was already titles that we've seen before or were just dated or windowed into spring of 2026, which leads me to the mindset of a release in the fall of this year for the console would have been more applicable, and it would have made more sense because you would have had a stronger launch lineup and only a short couple of months for a plethora of new titles to bolster that lineup. I just feel the direction Nintendo is going is just one of those cases that really need to be studied. The amount of goodwill built up on the Switch just seemingly seems to have been destroyed from orbit the moment we had our first two Switch announcement directs. I want Nintendo fans to get more bang for their buck. I want them to get more from this company. Their undying loyalty should be respected, but the recent actions of this company in this direct, in multiple directs, and even in their current legal battles, Nintendo, just what on earth are you doing? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish here? Just dial it back to where you were in the Switch era, and everyone would forgive you. But anyway, that was just my opinion of this direct, and my opinion of Nintendo as a whole. And if you like this video, please leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.